Happy New Year, everybody. So on the agenda today is I'm doing a upgrade to my drum brakes on my 99 Dodge Ram. I was going to go the route of disc brakes, but reading on some forums and stuff, this seems to be the way to go. So I'm removing the stock cylinder and replacing it with a 1-ton GM cylinder. Not right now. Go lay down. And man, I don't know. There seems to be a consensus that that's the way to go. And honestly, for $40, it's worth a shot. So that's what we're doing today. I already replaced the other side, and man, it was a breeze. And I'm not a big fan of drum brakes, but they have their places, and they last a lot longer. They're harder to work on, but it's more infrequent, I guess. So yeah, I'll bring you along on this side. This happens to be the driver's side. Should be the same exact process for each side. And honestly, this you don't really need a lot of tools. You can do it with bare minimum. I mean, if you got the fancy flare wrenches and all that kind of stuff, more power to you. But this is essentially what I'm doing it with. So as you can see, I've got a rubber mallet, pair of vice grips, 3/8-inch ratchet with a 1/2-inch socket, a 1/4-inch ratchet with a 5/16 socket, and a crescent wrench, along with my tire iron. I mean, you can use a pry bar, and I'll show you what I use that for. This tire iron just has a rubber coating on the end, so it doesn't mar up your rim. And I just have some paper towels to get off all the dust. But that's it. That's his easiest job. I mean, this is the first time I'm doing it. Of course, I watched a couple videos and did some reading and stuff. I've replaced drum brakes before, and it's not very fun. So these happen to be brand new when I bought the truck, and that's a whole nother story. These happen to be brand new drum brakes. So the disc brake conversion kit was going to, it was all bolt-on, and it seemed fairly no-brainer. There was a weld-on kit too, but it was over $1,000, and a lot of people say you don't even notice a lot of difference. And in trucks, I tend to believe that. So most trucks have that load sensor, which applies more braking. So we're going to go this route. And this is the part I'm using. I got it at Napa, part number 37337. Like I said, it's made for a GM, 1-ton. This is a 3/4 ton truck, so it makes sense to me. It's applying more pressure. Time will tell. Just got back from a 2,000-mile road trip, round trip, and I pulled my 4,500-pound travel trailer. Not overly heavy by any means. It had sway bars. Suspension felt great, and I do have an exhaust brake. That helped a lot. But once I hit heavy traffic, man, I don't know. I just didn't feel like I had the stopping power that I needed. So I was being real cautious going through that traffic and giving plenty of room between me and the vehicles in front of me. I was using my hazards a lot too. So anyways, not that that's not a good idea. That's still a good idea. But I'd like to feel more braking power. So we're going to give this a go. So first step is to jack up your truck. I got a floor jack under there as well as a jack stand. And I got my front wheels chalked, so it's not going anywhere. Then, like I said, you either take a pry bar or your tire. You know what this thing is called. Escapes me right now. But you just got to pop off this thing, this hub cover. And it's just a friction fit, so it comes off pretty easy. Now, I already loosened these with the tire iron. That's what that thing is called. So just for expedient purposes, I'm going to take a impact, and this is a Makita 40-volt impact. I've got a 24 millimeter. I think it would probably take standard of that equivalent too. So I'm going to zip these off. Today, it's like 5 degrees outside, so I'm working out inside the garage. It's not heated or anything, but it's a whole lot better than outside. It's probably 30 degrees in here, but reason I say that, it gets really loud. And so I'm going to wear these just to help my ears. So we'll zip these up. These Makitas have weird settings. Like, I don't like that setting. Let's try this setting. Oh yeah, that's much better. Well, I did see a couple of videos about this, but they're older. And of course, this is an old truck. Now, it's new to me. I got this truck 2 weeks ago. Took that trip and everything. I really love it. It's got the 5.9 Cummins stock, except for the exhaust brake. Yeah, that's pretty much stock. And it pulled great. I'm telling you, I was going to take my Expedition, but that thing was getting like 6 miles per gallon pulling that little travel trailer. Junk. Do not think... Expedition is a great, sweet ride all by itself. I love driving it, but I do not like towing with it. Awful, awful mileage. So on the way down to our destination, I got 15.4 average. I never reset it. I just averaged it out. Now, we hit great weather, no wind, no headwind, nothing like that. So I would say that's probably definitely on the upside. We didn't have much of a tailwind either. And I went through 3 different states with some hills. And that's another thing, you know, like having that braking power, especially coming down those hills. The exhaust brake helps a lot, but shuts off at 30 or 35 miles an hour. So yeah, and then on the way back home, we were pretty much headed north the whole way. So we were gaining or climbing some altitude, or not much higher than maybe 1,000 feet higher. But we hit a headwind, northwest wind, 7 to 15 miles an hour the whole stinking way. And our mileage went down to 13.2, which is still more than double what the Expedition would have got. The Expedition hitting a headwind probably would have been 5 miles per gallon at the most. And that calculation is just based on me filling up, keeping count of the mileage, so doing the actual math. This truck is a Laramie SLT. It does have a computer. Just a real simple computer. And it was actually pretty close. I think the truck said 15.2. I came up with 15.4. So it's off maybe, I think, an acceptable tolerance of 0.2. All right, back to this. Sorry. So got the hub cover off. Now you just slide your tire off and get that out of your way. We'll just put that over here for now. So my dog is running around because he's hanging out with me. In case you're wondering what that whining noise is. I also got a new puppy, a German Shepherd / Belgian Malinois mix. Great little dog so far, but he's looking for her. They're best pals. So typically you gotta knock this thing loose. And I like to use a rubber mallet just because it's way quieter. And you don't have to worry about any damage. This one is actually pretty loose, so that's what the rubber mallet is for. Now, you just pull this out, and you'll expose your brakes, and you can inspect your wheel hub here. It looks pretty good. Really no buildup of dust or anything. Like I said, these were brand new 2 weeks ago, so didn't expect that. But I did put 2,300 miles on it since I got the truck. Now, with this is what we're after right here. She looks a little... I got jacked up. This is the the cylinder for this wheel, for these brake drums right here. And this is going to be the replacement. At first glance, they look exactly the same. But once this is taken out and you feel, yeah, that one is considerably heavier. Same circumference and everything. It has the same bolt pattern. Everything is exactly the same except it's made for a 1-ton. Now, you have springs on here, and what I did on that side was I went ahead and marked one side with a bunch of white paint, but it turned out I didn't actually need to do that. I actually only needed to take off one side, and that's what we're going to do here. And I don't have, again, there's spring remover tools. I'm sure you can get a heavy-duty pick in there. But a pair of vice grips works just fine. I really do like these old Dodges. I don't really like new trucks. Yeah, they could tow more. They're more comfortable, but I don't know. I like a work truck. just me. All right, so all we're after is this spring here because it's on top. I'm not going to mess with these other ones. So you want to get your vice grip on there. Make sure it's nice and tight. Just pull it, and it is pretty strong. So you got to put some mustard into it. That's it. You do not have to touch this other side. That was nice. Just kind of get this out of the way. And these here, these little studs, you do have to save because we're going to reuse those. And those will go in the new cylinder. Now on the back side, which is going to be real hard to show you, but I'll try to get you in here. All right, so from here, there are two 1/2-inch bolts right next to the on each side of the brake line, one here and here. So we just want to break them loose for now. This truck being near mint, almost practically new. There's no rust, no corrosion. It's been a joy to work on. In addition to that, I had it delivered, and first time I ever bought a truck online without test driving or anything. Yeah, must be a midlife crisis. I don't know, but I had it delivered, and the dealership said fresh new service and all that kind of stuff, and they delivered it on a trailer. But I don't know. I just wanted to do a new service and start with the kind of oil I like, and I put Rotella T6 on here. Your mileage may differ, but what was I gonna say? Oh, first vehicle I've ever had where I didn't need to jack up to get to the oil pan or anything like that. That was nice. I just got my creeper and rolled around and emptied it out. If you know anything about these 5.9s, the oil filters up on top where you can reach it nice and easily. It was pretty sweet. Okay, so I got a catch pan under there too. You're going to lose some brake fluid, but since this is a gravity fed, you shouldn't really get any air in the line. So now it's hand loose. I back that all the way. Take out the 1/2-inch bolts. Of course, we'll put them right back in with the new cylinder. So just put them somewhere handy. That one's a little tighter. Okay, so everything should be free back here now. All right, so now back on the front. This is what I was talking about. We only had to take that left spring off because once you loosen the stuff in the back and you free it up, you just work it out that way, and voila. Take this off. I'm going to put it on the right side. Now, I'll put that there, and I'll show you the new one. All right, like I said, Napa, part number 37337, if you are inclined to do so. So these look almost identical. Now the rubber's out because I pulled that out, but if you look close, there are some subtle differences. Like this casting here is different. Up on top, it's a little different. Like I said, these are built. You can just tell the weight, and this has even got some fluid in it. This is heavier. I would say, I mean, if you're talking grams, quite a few grams heavier than this one with the fluid in it. So just keep that in mind. So now take the new one, take the yellow cap out, get rid of that. Get your plunger over here. Now these are slotted. I mean, this upgrade is a no-brainer for $40. I hope it's worth it. And for 40 bucks, I mean, it's definitely worth a shot. So there's a slot in your shoe, your pad right back here in the hardware. So you want to feed that T into that slot, just like that. And then this should go, this should seat in there. And you put the other one in here. And your brake line in the back might fight you a little bit. So just move it if you have to. All right. Yeah, mine's fighting me a little bit. So let's get some light back there. See what's going on. Okay, not too bad. And I'm just going to start the brake line so it'll hold it still. Make sure you thread that on properly. You don't want to cross thread that. All right, so come back over here and make sure this is nice and straight. There. Looks pretty good. Now I'm going to go ahead and start these 1/2-inch bolts. And I'm just putting a little bit of used oil in them because it makes it a little easier to thread them in by hand. So this should be set in there pretty good. And now I'm just trying to find the hole. And there it is. These have little washers on them, little lock washers. So don't really, I mean, you can torque them down if you want. I don't know what the torque setting is. I'm using the German setting, good and tight. So your mileage may vary, but we'll get this one started. Okay. Now we move on to the crescent wrench. Move back to the crescent wrench, and we're going to just tighten this brake line. Again, good and tight. I am not going to bother bleeding anything unless I have to after I drive it, and I'll know in my pedal. I'll feel it, but this is all gravity fed, so I'm going to let it naturally bleed itself, and we'll get there. I'll show you what I'm going to do. Did the same thing on the other side and worked like a charm. So again, 3/8-inch flare wrench would be great for this application. I just don't have any, so. And this was the toolbox I had in my truck. And I knew I had enough tools to make it happen. So I didn't bother to go down to the shop. Now, the bleeder screw will have its little rubber nipple on there. You gotta take that off. And before you go to gravity feed it, I'm going to go ahead and just tighten up the 1/2-inch bolts in here. Good and tight. Oh, I really need to get better magnetic lights. Try not to touch them at all. They're so sensitive. Even vibration. Okay, good and tight. I got the cylinder all secure now. Now it's just a matter of getting this spring put back in place. So reverse what I did earlier. Take the vice grip or your special fancy tool and just pull it on there. Heavy duty springs, you can imagine. And that's all there is to it for the front. So it's nice and straight in there. On both sides, those T plunger things are set in place. The spring is back. Now, since like I said, we just got back from that road trip, I'm not going to worry about any brake cleaner, but I'm going to just kind of dust the shoes off. And these have a tremendous amount of life, which is interesting. Maybe somebody can tell me. On the passenger side, the rear one is thicker than the front one. This is the driver's side, and the front one is thicker than the rear one. I don't know if that's an adjustment that needs to be made. I know sometimes you can get in the backside and adjust it, but I'm not going to mess with it because, like I said, they're practically brand new. I will keep an eye on it, and if it continues to wear like that, then maybe we'll make an adjustment. I want to put a few hundred miles on this truck with these new cylinders to see how it operates and performs. Then at that time, we'll take a look at the wear. So yeah, I'm just dusting this out, wiping these down real quick. I'll do the same thing with the hub itself. Just make sure you use either a clean rag or clean paper towel. You don't want any oil or grease on there. It'll just slip. Okay, so the last thing now, we have to gravity bleed the brake line. So that leads me to the last tool, which is a 5/16 inch socket. And all we're going to do, so I was tightening it from the other side, is we already took the rubber nipple off. And so we're going to back this out. And we're going to let it sit. And eventually it will start dripping out. And there goes that stupid light. Okay. So what I like to do is, it's going to take a little while. The other side probably took 3 to 5 minutes. But I'm going to clean up everything that's wet, so I know it's coming out. Although the other side was dripping pretty good, so it was pretty obvious. Again, your mileage may vary, but all right, we'll give it some time to do its thing. I'll bring it back. Okay, so getting her done here. I was testing the emergency brake and everything. You can see, maybe you can't see now, but it is dripping. So at least most of the air is out. We're going to go ahead and hand tighten it. Then use your little 5/16 ratchet and good and tight it. Okay. In addition to that, final step there with the brake line. Let's get all this. I don't know. I've heard brake fluid is very corrosive. You would think it'd be kind of oil, but I don't know if there's any truth in that. But I don't want it eating away my paint. But anyways, put this nipple back on to your bleeder. Just helps protect it. And just clean up any residual brake fluid. Like I said, pretty easy. Move that out of the way. I don't have any more drips going on. And put my hub back on, which are not light, but you can imagine why. 3/4 ton truck. That's it. The wheel will keep that on. All right, I'm going to go ahead and set the truck down. Then I'm going to come back to tire iron and really make these tight. And last but not least, put on the hub, and you can use your hand. You got that rubber metal handy. And And that's it, folks. So again, I'm going to kind of alternate. I mean, homesteading is a mirage of responsibilities, and maintenance of your vehicles, like I've said before, is definitely one of them. Now, you might not call this maintenance. This is more of an upgrade, but I won't call that an upgrade until I take it for a drive and I actually feel an improvement in the braking process and power and stuff. So I'll come back and we'll reassess it in a couple hundred miles, take the wheels off, take a look at everything. But from what I read online, you should notice a difference right off the bat. So I'm going to go for a drive. So I'll bring you back and let you know how the drive goes. All right, everybody, just got back from a drive, and yes, there is a noticeable difference. I am thoroughly satisfied with that upgrade and can't recommend it enough. So for 40 bucks and maybe an hour's worth of time, that included all the filming and chasing after my dogs. Yeah, that's the best bang for your buck. Like I said, disc brakes conversion kit. It looked pretty simple to install, but it was going to cost over $1,000. I think it was like 1,100 bucks. And I don't think I was going to get enough stopping power to make it worth it. So, anyways, that's it for this video. Appreciate you watching. I'll keep posting this kind of stuff if people want to see it. But yeah, one last shot here. It's a Napa part. If you have a second gen, Dodge Ram 3500, it's Napa wheel cylinder part 37337. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please do me a favor and click that like, and if you like watching these kind of videos, feel free to subscribe. We'll catch you on the next one. Say goodbye, Ivan. All right, folks. Later.